Next is a talk from Hewlett Packard. And what is it that I'm telling you? Yes, that's right. We could not, it would not be possible for us to put on this conference without the support of our vendor sponsors. All right. That having been said, I want to make sure that after I introduce the next speaker, Craig Belusar, that we, as we say in the rock and roll parlance, give it up. So be prepared. Are you ready to give it up? All right, excellent. Are you with me? Yeah? Okay. Our next speaker, Craig Belusar from Hewlett Packard Enterprise. He manages the HPE, that's Hewlett Packard Enterprise, scale-out storage engineering team. His team is responsible for providing scale-out storage solutions on HPE hardware, and most recently has been focused on delivering storage solutions for HPC environments. You ready? Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Belusar, let's give it up for Hewlett Packard Enterprise.
Well, thank you very much. Assume the mic is on, we're all good. All right, you may have noticed that we have a table out in front where we are showing off a couple of new products. We just launched on Monday our Apollo 4520 along with an announcement that we're partnering with Intel to provide Intel's Enterprise Edition of Lustre on the 4520. And so that's going to be the focus of our presentation today. I kind of wanted to help everyone become aware of the product line and understand exactly what we're offering. Some of you may be familiar with the SL4540. We introduced a family of servers in Gen 8 that was dense from a storage standpoint. And so we had 3 versions of that box. We had a single node version that had about 60 drives in it. We had a 2-node version that had 25 drives. And we had a 3-node version that had 15 drives each. One important thing to understand about Gen 8 is that in Gen 8, each server saw its own set of drives, and they were secluded from the other server nodes that were in that chassis. So in Gen 9, we expanded that quite a bit. We have an Apollo 4510, which we generally see a lot of traction on in object storage cases. You have a single server node with about 68 drives. So it's pretty good for active archive types of implementations. We have an Apollo 4530, which has 3 nodes. And it has 15 drives per node, and so it tends to be very useful for cases where you're running analytic types of workloads like Hadoop, and you have a higher spindle to core count. We also introduced an Apollo 4200. And if you look at the Apollo 4200 in the specs, it kind of matches what we had Gen 8 in Gen 8 with the SL45 2-node version, because we can fit in 4U 2 server nodes, each with 28 large form factor drives. And so when we started looking at the traction that we were seeing in the HPC storage market, and we started looking at what can we do with our 4500 2-node version, it became very apparent that it would be advantageous for us to allow sharing of the drives in between those 2 nodes. And so on Monday, we announced the 4520, and the big difference between this version and the version that we had in Gen 8 is that in Gen 9, we can now share the drives between the 2 nodes. And so it opens up use cases for Lustre, for other clustering types of applications, for Microsoft storage spaces. But with Lustre, we knew that we had to provide solutions that land on top of it. And so that's why we've been working and partnering with Intel, as well as providing reference architectures for community Lustre. And so this is, you can go out into the foyer and take a look at the box itself, but I'm going to describe a little bit about what the features are that come along with it. You can see this box fits into about a 4U space. We can get 23 drives on each side, so you can get a total of 46 drives in the box. There are 2 server nodes. You can kind of see those silver, basically lengthwise spots. Those are where the server trays slide into. On the back, we have an I/O module for each server node. And so the I/O module is connected in the back without cables. We can show you that as well, but basically there's 4 PCIe slots in there and 1 additional FlexLOM slot, which we can use for networking. So the advantage here is that you can get, basically with your server nodes and with minimal cabling, you can get each server node attached to each set of 23 drives. From a motherboard standpoint, this is very similar to what we use in our mainstream servers. We have, regular Intel E5 2600 processors. We support, 2 sockets in these boxes. There is up to 16 gigs of memory. A couple other things to note about the internal storage. We have a separate storage controller for the 2 drives in the front. So you can configure hardware RAID with those 2 drives if you'd like. For access to the top-loaded drives, usually you have to use an HBA in order to get access to that. And so that kind of will lead into some of the details of our Lustre solution, because with Lustre we're offering, or we're recommending ZFS to provide the RAID functionality of the drives that are top-loaded. Other than that, it supports our standard ILO management processor, so you can have access to all of the advantages that ILO provides as well. We are going to allow support for up to 2 D6000 JBODs to be attached to this. So each JBOD can hold 70 drives. So that means you can get up to, I believe, 184 drives for the full set of servers. And so this is how we get that shared storage between the 2 nodes. Each drive tray has a set of 2 expanders on it. And so what that allows us to do is that allows us to take an HBA that's in one of those rear PCIe slots and connect it to an expander on either side. So we can do that for one server node on the left side, and we can do it for the server node on the right. And so that's how we get that shared storage between the 2 nodes. The one question that I do get from a lot of people is there special hardware support built in to enable the failover? And for Lustre especially, we're not really doing anything special in the hardware to enable it. All that failover functionality, that HA functionality is provided by software packages that we have integrated into our Lustre ZFS solution. In addition to the H240 HBAs for the internal storage, this is where you'll see a couple of HBAs used for access to those external JBODs. We'll add that in there in the rear as well. And for our reference architectures and our recommended configurations, we're going to have redundant cabling to the JBODs to provide that HA functionality. So we mentioned the 4520s. We'll basically use those for OSSs, and we'll scale those accordingly as needed. For our set of metadata and management servers, for that we recommend just DL360s. These are our standard 1U boxes, and we're offering 2 options here. One, we can use our MSA 2040. Our MSA 2040 is a hardware RAID box that can attach to 2 servers so that you can have that HA functionality. Also, we're offering another type of configuration with a D3700 JBOD. And what that allows you to do is run ZFS on the metadata and management servers as well. So the trade-offs between the 2, the MSA 2040 will run a little bit faster. So if you have some kind of workload that has a lot of, file creates or needs really high performance for those metadata server nodes, then the MSA 2040 might be the right answer. If you are looking for some of the advantages that ZFS gives you when you're using ZFS across the whole cluster, then the D3700 might be the right answer. So we'll offer both options as part of our Lustre solution. When we ship out the door, we're going to be shipping with FDR. We will be adding on EDR support very shortly, as well as OmniPath support. Also, we'll be adding 8 terabyte drives pretty shortly as well. So we'll be able to get some pretty high capacity in this server. So one of the things that we like to make sure customers understand, we are not an appliance, especially for community Lustre. If you're looking to go it your own on Lustre, you can pretty much order this box however you want. You can select your whatever processor, memory configuration you want. You can have options with what type of interconnect you're using out the back. When you're going at your own, we pretty much let you do whatever you want to do. For the Enterprise Edition of Lustre, we are reselling, we're selling installation services as well as support, a part of which the support will come from Intel. But when we do that, we do have a couple of rules, and so that's where you see that appliance-like term come from. That's basically what that means. And so when you order a server along with installation services and support, we want to make sure you have things like hard drives in your server. And so we put little rules on there that say, hey, you guys have to order SAS drives to go along with it. But other than that, there will be flexibility in the configuration as well when you're ordering our 4520 with Intel Enterprise Edition for Lustre. We're also offering, with the Intel Enterprise Edition of Lustre, we offer a plugin that integrates with our IML. And so basically you get special add-on monitoring for HP hardware. Just for an example, when a hard drive fails, it'll give you the box bay location of where that hard drive is located. We're providing LED functionality so that you can understand exactly where the failure is, and you can find and easily replace hard drives. And there's other things that we're providing there too as well. So thank you, that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please come check out the table outside in the back. And if you want more information, there's a link up there that will help provide information to the solution so that you can dig in and look at more details if you're interested. Thank you.
Questions for Craig? No? Greg, thank you very much.